Item 7, review the Shady Lane Park design cost estimate. Also,
I've got some hard copies here to pass out. I emailed this out as soon as I got it yesterday evening, but here are hard copies.
for the people here, this is, as you may know, we're in the process of looking at Shady Lane Park.
Can you put it on the projector?
Put there. The park has some adjacent property that's now part of the city, and we have to decide what it is we're going to do with it. And we're
Here are a couple of
anticipating
copies.
making this our marquee park within the city as far as recreational activities. In fact, we've even considered renaming it Shady or Pleasant View Recreation Park or Shady Lane
Sports
Complex. And we've had a committee that was involved in looking at it from a standpoint of a variety of different usages, and has suggested a number of items that could be included in the park, sports complex / park. And our eyes are always bigger than our wallets, so we're in the process of trying to figure out what we could and should do and what options that are before us. So,
Okay, well, based on the input that I communicated to our engineer from the last meeting, this drawing reflects many of those changes. There are some items still missing, but that's okay, because the cost estimate that I passed out is based really on those essential components of phase 1, which are parking, a building, and a playground. The building is significantly different from the last one that we looked at. It is expandable so that, you know, the first phase of the building is just restrooms and a storage room. But then we can expand it to add on concessions, we can expand it for a Bowery, we can add a second level for an announcer's booth. So that really brings down the cost of the building. And the parking configuration is totally different. I like it better. It may still be, you know, as far as numbers of stalls, maybe a little high. We estimate that when we got cars lined up all down 600 and 3,000, we've probably got around 75 cars there. So 120 in that stall, in that parking lot to the east is a little high, but I think it's good to have some extra capacity, especially for things like the salmon bake. And I would also restripe the lot on the north side between the field and the horse arena. We talked about that before, and I'm not sure why that change wasn't picked up on this drawing. But basically, all of the other components that we talked about can still be done, just in future phases. And so the new cost estimate comes in at $478,000, which is much lower than what we were talking about before for the whole kit and caboodle.
did we resolve the issue about the size of the playing fields? There were some, the last public hearing we had a gentleman here that brought up some issues about adding another field. And did you talk to Steve?
I talked to Steve more about the same issues. Steve wasn't sure we needed a third ball diamond at all. But he was going to talk to Mr. Roy Lentz, who's the one who made the public comments. And I haven't heard back from Steve yet, but you know, we can still consider that. It doesn't have to be in phase 1 necessarily. But even if we decide that we should do it and it's not much cost, we could fold it in. fairly easily, I would think.
So as I remember, not putting words in Councilman Walker's mouth, but he was concerned, as I remember, about maybe having too much parking. Is that correct? Am I
I
saying?
just wondered if we needed that much.
Yeah. What do you think? That is a lot of parking. Is there any other option for that space?
You know, one thought that I have is where you see the,
Too much parking?
Steve says no, not too much.
Anything off of 600 or, Shady City?
Yeah, we don't want, we would ban some parking on 600.
Well, especially when that street gets wide. Whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Well, I think when we get this done here, we need to put on there no parking.
Yeah, right.
No access off from 600 either, other than that corner.
So what are you proposing, spending 400?
No, I'm just asking, you know, are we okay at this point anyway with this design so that I can prepare a grant application that says, okay, we've budgeted 300,000, okay, between this year and next year. And the grant program, who knows how much it could contribute. They've given grants of more than 200,000 before. But I would contemplate applying for a grant that would cover the playground, probably the playground and the restroom.
This is reference.
No, it's federal money, outdoor, it's called,
Can you get the paving under it? Actual asphalt?
maybe, I mean, there are really no restrictions except it has to be for outdoor recreation. So this whole park is outdoor recreation.
I'm looking at these numbers. You've got 120,000 for the building, well, we don't have to do the building up front.
It's true. I think it's,
Well, I think we need to have restrooms.
Well, there's restroom in there. There's restroom in that park.
yeah,
Have the
it's
weight
up by the
restrictions,
horse
yeah.
arena.
But I'm just saying, we don't have to have it up front.
Mhm.
The playground, correct, $60,000, we don't have to have that up front. The paving, we could actually go in there and just do the road base, not pave it.
Right.
Not
We
the
could also
great-
do that also in phase 2. You know.
Again, phasing this thing, and then the fabric goes under the pavement, that's 180, 250,000 of the 400 that the engineer is estimating, that could come in a second phase if we had to.
Matching, or the grant program, as I recall, is a 50% matching grant. And,
Now, if we can get the government to get a grant to do that part of it,
We have to match it.
yeah,
Whatever we get, we have to match. So
I would think that a grant application would be more appealing if the grant funds are used not for a parking lot. If they're used for actual recreation amenities,
the playground,
right?
the rest of
The
it,
walking path.
The walking path,
Those
sure.
should all be permanent.
And the walking path's not in this cost estimate,
Playground.
but I can have them pull it in.
yeah, if you're gonna put it under the grant
You
application.
had 60 for the playground, and I think they would consider the restroom facility and storage room is essential to that. It's pretty hard to have a playground without a restroom.
I'd rather see the restrooms going first than the playground, personally.
You know, it just depends on what kind of grant we
Depends on what
get,
kind of
how we
grants.
phase it.
I'm
Yeah,
just
if
see
we
what
were-
they would look at.
Hypothetically, if we were not successful in getting the grant, then we'd have to come back and say, okay, with our 300,000, what do we want to
that's
do?
exactly right. Yeah.
Probably a gravel parking lot.
Maybe the restroom and
Yeah.
Go from there, where we can.
and phase it.
Yeah, we can get a little closer on our costs then also.